By this time, you should have completed the warm-up at the top of your paper. There are 4 questions. They review the 2 major topics we learned last week, percent proportion and percent of change. So we're going to start off, and I'll go over these very quickly with you. Remember, with percent proportion, you always have an 100 down here in the bottom, and you want to fill in the things. Now, these one-liners are really good for the is over of. Okay? Equals percent over 100. So we're going to be using that in order to solve the first 2. So this says 30% of what number is 17? 30 is our percent. It goes over 100 is 17. So it's on top, and we would solve this proportion. And we end up with x equals 56.6. We'll round it to 67. Okay? And it's not a percent. It's actually just a number because it went down here for the whole. Same kind of setup on number 2, a percent proportion problem. The 100 goes down here. It says, what is, and this is our question, you know we're looking for this, 21% of 62. I fill in my numbers. I cross multiply and divide, and I end up with x equals 13 and 2 hundredths. Okay. Number 3 and number 4 are percent of change problems. Okay. It's a dead giveaway in number 3 because it says a popular brand of running shoe costs a local store $68 for each pair. If the store sells the shoes for $119, what is the percent of increase? That tells us that we're dealing with a percent of change problem. Remember that means we set it up with change over original equals percent over 100. Okay, so we'll be using that setup for number 3 and number 4. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in my 100 and then read my problem again and fill in my other things. Right? A popular brand of running shoe costs a local store $68. Well, that's my original amount. Remember to find change that you're going to need to subtract. So change is going to be 119, take away 68. Right? And if you do that, you end up with 51. And so I put that here on top where the change goes. And then I have my percent, or I guess in this case you could fill in an x. Okay. You cross multiply and divide, you end up with 75. And since it's this number right here that we're looking for, that makes it a percent. 75% increase in price. Number 4 is the same setup as number 3. This change over original equals percent over 100, same thing. I know that because it says find the percent of change in the problem. Okay. Find the percent of change if the original price of a stock was $75 and the new price is $60. Round to the nearest whole percent. Okay. The change here is 15, 60 to 75. Okay, I find that by subtracting. I'm filling my 100. I'm looking for the percent. And make sure you rounded your answer. If you cross multiply and divide, you end up with 20%. And that would be a decrease if it asked you 20% decrease. We're going to move on today. We're still dealing with percent, but we're going to take some notes on a new topic. I would like for you to get out something to take notes on, okay? And you can write down as little or as much of this as you need to, but you are responsible for learning about tax, discount, and gratuity, okay, which is what we're talking about today. And you'll be answering questions about this when I get finished with the lesson. Gratuity is also sometimes called tip, so keep that in mind. We're first going to start off with some vocabulary. So tax is money added on for the government. Sale and discount is money taken off. And gratuity, which is also called the tip, it's left for service. Okay, like you leave your waiter or waitress a tip at a restaurant. So keep in mind that tax is money added, so we add tax. Sale or discount is money taken off, So we subtract if it's sale or discount, and gratuity is added onto your final bill. Okay, so keep those things in mind. We're going to talk about the steps. When you're working with money, these are the things that you're going to do. Okay, and I have highlighted or bolded some important things, the most important things, in this purple color. Okay, number 1 says convert percent to a decimal. We have 7% tax. We need to change that into a decimal. And you do that by moving the decimal 2 places to the left every time. Okay. Number 2 says take that decimal and multiply it by the amount. This gives you the amount that you save or the amount you pay extra. Okay, a percent of the original. And then you'd like to add or subtract from the original amount. And we've already written this down. You can copy down the other one, but you need to know. You add tax and gratuity, also called tip, and you subtract sale. Okay, so if it's on sale or if it's a discount, you subtract. So you're going to convert, you're going to multiply, and then you add or subtract. Okay. So with that, we're going to do some examples. Oh, before we get to the examples, you need to know that the order is important. Okay? When you work in this, discounts come first. So discount would be the first thing you would find. Okay, tax is number 2. And tip is the last thing that you add onto your bill. So you want to make sure that if you have a problem that has 2 of these things happening, for instance, it's on sale and then you have to find how much tax, you calculate the sale first and then you pay tax, and you calculate the tax after that. Example number 1 says, a small television costs $120 and the sales tax is 6.5%. What is the total cost of the television? Okay. First, we'd like to convert. We want to change our percent, okay, 6.5% into a decimal. We do that by moving the decimal 2 places to the left. So we have 0.065. Step number 2 is to multiply. I'm going to take my $120, which is the price of my TV, and multiply it by my decimal amount. Okay? And that's going to actually take some calculation. If you do that, you get $7.80. Step 3 is to add or subtract. Okay? In this case, it says sales tax. We know that is the time that we add. So we're going to be adding our $7.80. So we have $120 that the TV originally costs, plus $7.80 that we have to pay in tax. So we get $127.80 as our final bill. That's what we have to pay the cashier to walk out of the store with our new TV. Okay? First we converted, then we multiplied, and then we determined whether we need to add or subtract, and we followed through. If the problem asked you then to add a tip to this or something, you would then use this $127.80 to calculate your tip. Okay? Example number 2. Angela wants to buy a pair of boots that has a regular price of $129. This week, the boots are on sale at a 20% discount. What is the sale price for the boots? Step 1, we want to convert. We have 20%. We're going to change that into a decimal. It's the same value, it's just easier to work with than type into a calculator. Step 2, we'd like to multiply. $129, which is how much the boots were, times the 20% to find out how much we're going to be saving. We get $25.80. Now, since these are on sale, we're going to be saving $25.80. So we're going to be subtracting $129, the cost of the boots, minus $25.80, the amount we're saving, is going to give us $103.20. And that is how much we have to pay for the boots. Now, if this were a complex problem and we had a second step to find the tax, we would use this new amount that we got, the 103.20, and find the tax. Okay, that's what we'll be using when we multiply. Right? Our last example, number 3. A set of golf balls sells for $20, and the sales tax is 5.75%. What is the total cost of the set? Well, we convert. Right? We multiply $20 for the golf balls. We have a sales tax. We need to determine the $1.15. So in order to walk out, we have to add because it's tax. We have to pay $20 plus the tax. Gives us $21.15 as a total bill. Try the 10 problems that you have at the bottom of your sheet. If you finish those, you can read quietly. All right, tomorrow we will be working on the same thing.